let me say this about that. Um, the campaign, if you will, or the movement, if you will, of being an independent woman is not something that women sought. It's not something that didn't occur without an action that came before that. And so we can take this back historically, um, to the 1930s, after the 1929 stock market crash, and when Roosevelt created something called the New Deal. Whereas in creating the welfare system, he purposely provided housing and food subsidies to women and children, and said that the man could not be a part of the household. And for black women at that time, being 60 years or less out of slavery, a viable option for them because their children and their families starving. And so, with the man being forced out of the house, it created generations of women who were head of household. So I just wanted to be clear that being the independent woman was not just something some woman woke up and said, "Oh, I'm going to be by myself. I'm going to do it all by myself." It's because there was a culture that was created by our United States government that brought this into fruition. So now, let's go forward. So one strong woman raises another strong girl, raises another strong girl, raises another strong girl. And so men also have a culture. Men have a culture for cheating, men have a culture for uh, leaving. And it's easy for a man to pick up and leave when he's not taking his children. When he doesn't have his children in tow, it's easy for a man to pick up and leave to start up a new household. But a woman who has children, she has to be almost considered. In other words, is there a relationship that I can find where this man is going to love me and love and accept my children? That is very rare, especially in the black community. And you have to look at economics plays a part in that, because you get men who say, I wanted to take on a woman, but I didn't want to take on her two children because I can't afford that. That's a whole lot of expense, especially when that absentee father is not making a contribution. That's not for everybody. So I don't want nobody saying that, oh, I think all black men cheat and abandon their children. No, that is not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that growing up in South Central Los Angeles, that is what I saw. And I was raised by my father, absent a mother. So it flipped on me. But here's the thing, when we talk about how it backfired, I think that what happened is that women realized that their mothers and their grandmothers and their aunties and great aunties were wrong and were bitter about the relationships that they had had and what they had experienced. Now, if you look at the actual fact, the actual fact is that in the African American community, and these numbers have been greatly exaggerated, but I work in a field where my statistics are pretty close. And we're looking at 79% of African American women head in the household. So tell me, how can she not be independent? And that's not by a wish. It's not that she wishes to run the household alone, but there has been a divide between men and women. because we as a people, all people, black, white, you red and brown, we as a people have lost our moral authority. Because it doesn't matter if the relationship doesn't work out. As a man, you stand up as a man and say, I'm still going to care and provide for my children. Care and provide means that you're there and you're providing financial support. That's what care and provide is. That's how you foster children, by not only having your money there, but that you are also present. So when we say that 79% of the women head the household, then if she had an equal partner or equal participatory partner, then it wouldn't be that way. But they gather these statistics by how many fathers have been, um, what can I say, mandated to pay child support. And even though if they're paying or not, when a woman fills out an application for public assistance, when a woman files for a divorce, woman and because my significant other is, being a deadbeat dad, they gather those statistics and they use that to determine how many women are applying for assistance through a federal agency or a government agency. So that's where a lot of the statistics actually come from. Now, how many women actually receive assistance after applying? It's less than 60%. So when you say the independent woman movement has backfired, it should have never started. It should have never put a woman in that position. Now, have women became cocky and bold in this so-called movement? Yes. You've lost your feminine grace by saying, well, I don't need a man. I make my money. I got my own house. I can take care of my own children. But here's the thing. You see the outcome of most of the children. The outcome of most of the children. Not to say the single mothers cannot raise, strong, sound-minded children. That's not what I'm saying. But it creates a void that exists in every human child. Because even in the womb, a child innately knows that they are a part of two people. It's in the neurological development of a child that they know that they are a part of two people. So when your child gets of a certain age and say, well, I don't have a daddy, and you say to that child, you don't need a daddy, you got mommy, your daddy's no good, your daddy's not here, your daddy don't care, all this negativity. Now, what has been the results of the independent woman? What has been the outcome? You got good jobs, you got good homes, you got education, you got all the luxuries that you want. But the human factor is gone because by nature, by God's given nature, you're supposed to be with a man. I'm a Muslim, but the Bible says that a man who findeth a wife, he didn't say a woman, he said a girlfriend, he didn't say a home chick, he didn't say a side piece. He said a man who findeth a wife has found a good thing. Love your wife as I have loved you. So women, and they can get mad at me or whatever. Let's just keep it 100 though. I may be considered old school, but my training comes from the word of God himself. And that is, women have to become virtuous women. Not to say that you can't turn this around, but you got to become a virtuous woman. What is a virtuous woman? A virtuous woman is one, number one, that holds her chastity until she is actually married. And a lot of people say, oh, well, that's old. We don't have to be married. We can shack up and this is that and the other. And this is why you have what they call broken families or broken family homes or whatever you want to call it. And that is because you have not made yourself worthy. I'm going to say that again. Women have not made themselves worthy of having a husband. And you say, you're a woman. How dare you say that? I say that because I see you. Not all women. I'm never talking to all women because every woman's situation is very different. But there are a lot of women, and y'all know this. Call me a lie if you want to, but you know this. There are a lot of women who give up the goods, and you know what I'm talking about, who allow men to live in their homes, who allow men to live in their homes and not contribute, who allow men to live in their homes and they have babies with them, and you still got this baby, this other baby in your house. The man that doesn't work, the man that doesn't contribute. I know a woman personally got 3 children. I can tell by the way that women dress. When you put on $900 worth of hair and clothes and makeup to attract a man, 90% of women do that. So you're seeking men by the way you dress. I know. I mean, because you wouldn't need to be all glammed up if you were just wanting to hang out with girlfriends. You're trying to, by nature, impress the opposite sex. But at the same time, you got to remember something. During slavery, not for the original slaves that came over here, but the slaves that were born, you have to understand, they did not teach slaves the science of business, right? Nor did they teach them the science of mating. And how we mate today is that we mate from the neck down. When most people should mate from the neck up, meaning that you have to be what the Bible calls evenly yoked. And so all I'm saying is that this female feminine movement was not something that was intentional. It was something that historically was done to women and men. And now it's up to us as women and men to turn it around. The black woman is the most disrespected female on the planet. Why is that? Why? Because she is the most beautiful woman on the planet. And she has been portrayed as either in media a maid or a whore for most of the time. A maid or a whore. And society, black men, white men, brown men, red men, look at a black female mostly as a sexual being. The sad part about that is that we feed into that. Even if we walk up to a guy and he says, hey, sexy, what's your name? And we respond, when we should know that the only thing that's on his mind is the sex part. And so there are many sour instances that we as black women have found ourselves in when it comes to relationships. And that is because we rush into this so-called relationship when relationships have variations. And what I mean by that is that any man that you meet, even if you're considering him to be your mate, should first become your best friend. How dare you take a man to your house or you go to his house, you lay down with him, you close your eyes at night, you give birth to his children, and then every time something goes wrong, you got to go talk to your best friend. Your best friend should be the one that's laying beside you. When I was married, if I had a problem, I talked to my husband because to even today that we're not married, he's still my best friend. But he started off as my best friend. That is the person who knows you on the good side, the bad side, that accepts you, the good side, the bad side. And that is the person that you should turn to because your relationship should have variations. That's your friend. That's your partner. That's your homie. That's your lover. That's your man. Your relationship should have variations. It shouldn't be I'm the wife, I'm, the girlfriend, I'm the side piece, and should be any of that. But your relationship, your marriage should have variations. So when they talk about a need to turn this thing around, to reconsider uh, the things that are taking place within this feminine movement, I think the first thing that needs to change is the women. A nation can rise no higher than its woman. And if we as women don't get it together, this entire planet is going to fail. Why do you say that, Queen? I say that because every woman is the second self of God. Why do you say that, Queen? I say that because you are the only one in the world that can give life. You can give it and you have the power to take it away, even in the womb, I mean. But your womb is designed to give life. That's a big responsibility we have as women. And so you have to first know your value. And without knowing your value, these same historical mistakes will continue. What you're teaching your daughters, to tell your daughter you should never have to depend on a man. Men ain't no good. They only want you for one thing, this, that, and the other. And when her nature kicks in at an older age, what is she supposed to think? Well, my mommy, my auntie, and my grandma say men are no good and they only want me for one thing. But here I got this girl that's my best friend. That's my homie. This is the one I trust. So now when the Bible say they start to become lovers of themselves, this is what we're seeing.